Alright people, Catfish Dave here. It is around 12 noon, mid-July, and I've been on a pattern, which is I've been catching active fish anywhere between 10 and 25 foot. The hottest area has been between 17 and 23 foot. So I'm taking a bit of a risk, and I'm on the upper end of the reservoir. Why I say that is a risk is because the upper end reservoir fish go on the nest last, which means they're going to be coming off last. Now on the lower end, I was still getting some fish with eggs, but my better fish that I had caught looked like they had dropped the eggs. The reason I'm wanting to fish this upper end of the reservoir is, well, this is where I caught my best fish back in the spring. Several years ago, I was getting my best spring fish downriver. This year, it was crazy. I found them upriver. So I know there's some good fish that went on the nest in this upper section of river. It's hot. The good side is it's pretty windy out there, which is why I'm pulled into this cove just to do the intro. Good part about it is it's going to allow me to stay out here in this 90-something degree heat. It is a full moon. I do not like fishing the full moon when it is up, but in the daytime, before it comes up, I tend to get on a pretty good bite. This first creek system I'm launched out of is full of water in that 20-foot range, 17 to 20-foot range. So we're going to work it. Let's see what happens up here. And I'm planning on a pretty good day. This creek ain't quite as deep as I thought it was. I'm real close. It's a lot of 17 foot. The deepest is around 20 at this very end. I was hoping for more 17 to 25, but we'll try it. I'm not seeing as much bait as I did downriver. Here we go, coming up river's a gamble. Let's see what happens. Basically, 3 videos I have left fish to find more fish. A lot of YouTubers will tell you don't do that, but I'm always hunting for that one big fish. I was getting some mid-20s fish downriver starting to come off the nest, and I'd like to see something a little better. It is the slow part of the day here right around noon. I expect it to be a little dead and then pick up as the afternoon goes on. So this initial pool might be a little slow, even if there is fish. You don't know if you don't throw, and that's why I'm giving it a go. Skipjack head on one. They have been preferring body sections. Yes, they have. But I'm going to throw at least one head on, just in case. Basically, I slow my trolling speed down during the most inactive times. And then later on this afternoon, I'll bump it up to about 0.8. Got my Mad Cat's towel. And I'm going to start the afternoon off getting hydrated. Every day I leave after a video, man, my head's pounding, I'm dizzy. This breeze should make it a little better. Hopefully some cloud cover because we have storms moving in tonight. All right, y'all, we're about 20 minutes in. I've had a couple small bites on that green rod, which is the one with that red float. Now, for whatever reason, that red float has been putting out most of the fish. As I'm coming through here, I'm noticing we don't have near the bait in this depth that I did downriver. The other thing I noticed is my temperature gauge about 5 degrees cooler. Now, like I said, this part of the reservoir, everything happens later. So now in my first post-spawn video, which is way back in the 4th of July, I was getting fish as shallow as 6 foot. Considering this is behind time, that could be where the fish are now. And we're going to find out in this video. After a good run at a slower speed, I have now bumped up to a faster speed. Changing the presentation. And I'm still not real alarmed because we are around that noon hour, which is typically slow anyhow. First good hit at a faster pace. My board stayed attached. I'm going to assume the bait's still on it. Seems like the faster speed is having an effect. I've also been hit on that left rod. Small fish, but bite activity has increased with the increased trolling speed. Getting way more bites now. That ain't gonna do it right there. It's typical this time of year, but it still ain't gonna do it. And it was the red float that got the first actual fish. Another one on that red float. Little bitty old fish. All right, y'all, I have increased the current, the speed of my boat up to 1 mile an hour. Plus, we're getting later in the day, away from that noon hour. Keep in mind, pulling these fish in is like pulling it in through a 1 mile an hour current. That's a little better fish there. Peeing in the boat. One thing that's staying in pattern is they're really not liking the head pieces that much. These small fish hitting it like a freight train. Either way, we're getting them in the same depth, a little shallower. The deepest thing I have here is 20. It's mostly 17 and 18. Still within that range of the last few videos. We're getting later on past the noon hour and the bite's picking up. Woo, we're hooked up. We're hooked. Gosh dang, hold still. We're hooked up. Head pieces ain't getting jack squat, and that's how it's been the last 4 videos. I think I've caught 2 fish total on heads in the last 4 videos and catching a ton of fish. If I was smart, I'd just go ahead and change that out. You kind of like to leave that headpiece just in case, but well, it did get a bite anyway. I guess I'll leave it out. Another summer fish. You can flat wear fish out this time of year. Doing what I'm doing right here. As long as you figure out what depth they're in, it's game on. This is the fourth video, 4th different location. Same result. Well, we finally got one on a headpiece. Little bitty old fish on a head. There goes that red float again. Woo. These little ones will get you. Looks like he got a mouthful. I'm gonna let him have it. Alright y'all, this is a Bear's planer board. You clip that on your line. That keeps it on your line after a fish hits. This sets where you want that planer board. I'm fishing 15 to 20 foot. We know we automatically need at least 20 foot of depth just to go straight up and down to the bottom. But we want more than that. We want our line to have somewhat of an angle on it. Now I threw that about 50 feet. So that's plenty enough to not only cover the bottom that we're running, but also add our planer board. Of course, you start doing this in much deeper water, you got to add a lot more line. But I know that's enough because that's a 50-foot cast to right about here. So we got about 30 foot extra line between that dragon weight and this planer board, and in shallow water conditions, that's fine. The back end clips on. Then you snap that to here. This long bar right here and this big clip always faces towards the boat. So it's going to be like this for that side of the boat. more line I let out, the farther it's going to spread to one side of the boat. Lock the reel down and it'll start swinging way to the side. Another on the red float. Ain't much, but it's catfish. That release clip popped loose, and now the planer board is just free riding on the line. Ornery old fish. Oh yeah. Ornery old fish. Running a much higher speed, 0.9 to 1 mile an hour, just depends on my mood. Seems to be working better today. When I slow it down to 0.5, I get nothing but fish biting on it that's too small to even catch. Another bread and butter size blue up here on the upper end of the reservoir. Alright y'all, I'm seeing a lot of bait fish and stuff. White bass, skipjack hitting surface bait. I've got a slip float tied up and I'm going to throw it out the back of the boat. Had this rod in the boat for striper fishing and I tied a little slip float to it. Running at about 6 foot deep. We're in about 20 foot of water. Old fat gut. Yes, sir. bitty blue cat. Yes, sir. Summer catfishing. Doubled up. Doubled up. One. The second fish on a headpiece. Headpieces have caught the fewest amount of fish last couple weeks. And there's the other one. I have no idea what we've caught today. I know it's a bunch of fish. That float rig just got hit. That fish hit and ran hard that way. I ain't used to that. Don't know how many this is, but we racking them up. guess that one don't count. He must have been whisker hooked. Woo! Catching too many catfish. All right, y'all, the thunderstorms are building. They were supposed to later on this afternoon. Either way, it was an experimental run. I've established a pattern on the lower end of the reservoir, catching a ton of fish every time I go. I've wanted to try further up to see where we're at. This is closer to the house. And on the initial pull, it made me a little nervous because I wasn't getting much action at all. But I told myself it is that right at noon hour, that's when I'd got here. So let's get past that to see what happens. And we got up from after about 1 o'clock. I just caught fish after fish after fish. Nothing real big this time. And I don't think we're quite as far along up here as we are down there. But it's starting to happen. Got a ton of fish in here. Out here in the hot summer sun, middle of the afternoon. Just wearing fish out. I like to experiment. I left fish to go find more fish. And I found plenty of fish by using the pattern that I have discovered was working. I spent all day July 4th figuring out what that pattern was, and I've been on it now for several videos past that, and it's working. Either way, it is a video. There was fish in the video. That makes it a fishing video. This is Catfish Dave with another one, signing out. I'm trying to get out of here before that storm hits.